Hey, well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cards from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week number 24 of the racing season, and we are making our final visit of the year to what I think of as the homeland of racing. Under the Twin Spires at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. No, it's not the Kentucky Derby, but it is a solid racing card featuring both the Fleur De Lis and the Stephen Foster handicaps. The pick four starts in race number 6. It ends in race number 9. They're all stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. He's our East Coast handicapper. He's from Staten Island, New York, and I believe he has a single for you that's not going to be in our pick four, but you'll have to wait for that till a little bit later. How you doing, Ray Toronto?
How you doing, Rich? How's Joe? How you doing? How you guys doing, West Coast? We are getting warmer here, so spring is coming, and we're feeling good.
Spring is coming. Summer's here.
Well, for us, we got a late start because it's been chilly. So.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to wait any longer. Our West Coast handicapper, he comes to us from his home in Temecula, California. Joe English, how are you doing? I see you're all ready for basketball this morning.
I am ready for basketball, and Ray doesn't realize Tuesday, I think, the longest day of the year in daylight hours, correct?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's also supposed to be about 106 out here.
Oh, boy.
on the longest day of the year. So good luck to us. And by the way, before I forget, happy Father's Day to you both.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, gentlemen. All right, you know what? I am going to admit I did not get my trivia question out to Joe and Ray. I have no excuses, but I'm still going to hit them with it. So, gentlemen, we have finished the Triple Crown series, and we are moving on to kind of what I think of as the Summer Stakes series. And last year, out of that Summer Stakes series, we got a little horse who's named Arrogate. So, Joe and Ray, Joe, you're going to get to go first here, but based on what we've seen so far this year, who is your horse who's most likely to break out in 2017? I guess what I'm asking you is, who's your Arrogate of 2017?
It's actually pretty easy for me. Where's that bobblehead you got?
Oh, he's over here on my
Bring both of them. You got that Mike Smith and Bob Effort bobbleheads. It's easy for me. I'm going to take a horse that even run in the Triple Crown. I'll go with Bob Effort's West Coast. How about that? Be a homer just for the name. I'll be a homer, and I'm thinking he's the one who's going to break out. He's going to be hopefully sensational, and he will not have had to run in the Triple Crown and suffer through the rigors of that. He'll be a fresh horse come the end of the year, and Bobby B is going to have him ready for Breeders' Cup.
All right, over to you, Mr. Torado. Who do you like? Who's gonna be your Arrogate of 2017? That's a nice one, Joe. I like that.
Boy. That's pretty tough. Well, I tell you, I can bail out here. Just choose who these two are gonna ride. You get the trainer, you get the jockey, you get the horse. But for 3-year-old, I don't know. I'm baffled here. You know what? I'll go pick a horse that actually ran a Triple Crown, and I kind of like. And I tell you that the horse to win the Belmont, Tappert, he's pretty tough, man. So he might move forward, and I'm gonna pick him. I like the way he ran. He has a good position. He stays in the race, and he's got good stamina. So if he improves, he won the Belmont, so he could be the one. This field is kind of it's good, but it's not the greatest.
Yeah.
So
all right,
I go with Tappert.
Tappert and West Coast. So there you go. Keep your eye on those two going forward this year, folks. All right. Last week was Belmont Park in New York, and unfortunately, we did not hit our pick four, and thus we start off the second half of our year 0 for 1. But we're optimistic. It's time for a brief weather update from Louisville, Kentucky, and the forecast for Saturday calls for a partial cloudiness early with scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. The high, boy, it sounds like Southern California, is around 95 degrees. The winds are at 10 to 15 miles an hour, but there's a 50% chance of rain today. So keep your eye at Churchill Downs to see what the track looks like. A total of 11 races, 5 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick four. It begins in race number 6, concludes in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
All right, start.
Let's go.
Race number 6, a mile and a 16th on the turf. It's the Wise Dan Stakes. Grade 2, purse is $200,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite at 3-1 is in post number 7. Pluven, trained by Phil Sims and ridden by Corey Lannery. Wise Dan. What a horse. He is absolutely one of my favorites, and I know I'm not alone on this show. The brilliant Chestnut Gelding won 19 stakes races in his career and was the first horse to win the same 3 Eclipse Awards in consecutive years. He won Horse of the Year, Older Male Horse, and Male Turf Horse in both 2012 and 2013. Joe, it's fitting that they named a race after him. You and I, we watched him win quite a few of those stakes together over the years. You have the honors in the Wise Dan Stakes, my friend.
Yeah, it's funny, but looking at the distance of this race, he was more, I mean, not that he couldn't win in a mile and 16th. He was more a miler to me, and I'm kind of wondering why this race isn't a mile instead of a mile and a 16th. Yeah. But anyway, that's really a non sequitur in this. It's funny. This was a difficult race for me to figure, and I've unfortunately been saying that a lot lately. But I decided to go with one of the speed horses in here, and I like the 4, Chocolate Ride. I think he's more reliable than Security Risk as far as being a speed horse. And maybe, I don't know if they decide, maybe Johnny V takes Security Risk back and tries to make a run and sit off Chocolate Ride, maybe angle outside of him. But otherwise, if Security Risk goes, I think Chocolate Ride can just sit right off him. He's got a lot of ones in his past performances showing as if he would need the lead, but he's not necessarily a need the lead type. And he won a grade 2 in the Muniz in 2015 down at Fairgrounds. He's a 9-time winner, and Brad Cox has a positive ROI with just his turf starters. You don't have to look any further than that. If you want to dig deeper, you probably could and find a situation where he's got a better ROI than the 0.31. But still, that's beating the takeout. I think he gets a good trip in here. I think Security Risk is really the only other realistic speed threat. I really kind of wish this race was a mile. But I think this horse can actually sit a nice trip, whether it's off of Security Risk or whether Security Risk lets him go and lets him take the lead. I think he's going to get the job done here. I think he's going to be able to hold on. I'm not sure. What I'm thinking where we stand with a lot of the others in this field, and I know Kasaki is a horse I've bet on a few times, and I kind of wonder if he hasn't lost a step a little bit. But again, I'm going to go with, since there's not a lot of pace in this race, I'm going to go with the speed and the more reliable speed of Chocolate Ride. And my second choice is the favorite, unfortunately. He won this race last year. He earned a career high buyer speed figure in that race of 102. Channing Hill was up that day. Corey Lannery won on him in the opening verse last time. And then what's funny is if you look back in his past performances, if you look at the bottom 3 lines, he ran an allowance race at Keeneland last year, ran the opening verse last year, and then he won the Wise Dan last year. So he's exhibiting the same pattern off the layoff, running the allowance race at Keeneland, the opening verse at Churchill Downs. So he's got a prep race over the track, and now he's got the Wise Dan, which was really probably the target all along. So I have to include him. So to me, it's too deep. It is a difficult race. You could probably go a lot deeper than that. But I'm going to try and save a little money here and use it for a little bit more coverage towards the end. So 4 and 7 for me. Chocolate Ride and Pluven are the 2 choices for me today in the Wise Dan. I will send it off to Ray. Ray, I know you have a little bit more coverage in this spot, so go to it.
Yeah, I do. For me, this race is kind of wide open. I don't have a definitive favorite. And, small opinions of a few horses. So out of the 8, I'm going to just go 4 deep here. Looking at number 5, Kasaki, like you mentioned. He was 4th to Vicidero, Peace Patrol, Oscar nominated in the Grade 1 Turf Classic. So, he's dropping down a little bit. This race has a lot of speed, so he comes from the back of the pack. You got a new jockey there, James Graham. He's 13% on the turf. Still the race his form cycle, so he was second in this race last year, on the lead actually, so he can go either way. And he's 7 years old, so he still has he could have lost step like you said, but he might be good enough to stay close to these. I do like a few long shots here. Bondurant, he's 8-1, number 2. He was a good second in the course, an optional claiming event. He had a horrible trip in the Maker's Mark, and he was competitive in the Grade 3 Canadian Turf for the second. So, but he needs to break his 5 race losing streak. But Ian Wilkes is still, he's 29%. We're saddling the beaten favorite of his last race, so that's a good. He gets to come back, and what I like, he's a 4-year-old, and he spots, and they're usually up and coming. So I'll give him a shot. Number 2, Bondurant. I do like number 3, Thatcher Street. No, he's 4-1. 2 preps this year, lesser company, and he was third in this race last year behind Proven, Casagree, and Let Brew, Ian Wilkes. You know, they get a good combination there. You can see the last 6 races, they won 4 of them, so they have a good streak there, 4 out of 6. And at 6, he may improve a little bit, and he can finish here too, so he can make a good run. And I do like your horse, Joe, Chocolate Ride, number 4. He's the best of the speeds. He's more, like you say, reliable, consistent. You know, we played him a few times last year in the fairgrounds, and he gave us a good run. He's a good horse. He could accompany Security Risk or front end, depends what they want to do. What Johnny V does with Security Risk. But I think he'll be on front, definitely pumping the pace. His best races have been Gate to Wire. And, Bridgman has won 2 out of 3 with him, and Brad Cox is at 30% turf starts, and 26% for 2017. So he's a good percentage trainer, and they'll give you a good run for your money. So I'm gonna go 5, 2, 3, and 4 in this sequence. All right, Rich, back to you.
All right, thank you guys. And so for me, at Churchill Downs, one of the most unusual things that I noticed in this track was I go to that summary page. They've had 20 races on the turf at 1 mile and a 16th so far. You don't see the pressers very often light up in the stats. You often see me looking for the early in the EP. I like speed, so this is one of the few times that I actually saw the P's. Apparently winning. If there's been 20 races and you've got 40% of them, you got 8 out of 20 are going to the presser. So I actually kind of took the shortcut here, and I was also just looking for horses that had their P. Assuming that those would be the ones that are going to be coming across the finish line. So one of them you already heard, and that's the favorite. I won't discuss that one. But my top pick for the day, I have a bit of a soft spot for any horse that appears that has that Conquest name in them. So this is Mark Cassidy and Robbie Alvarado. They hit 33% together. It's a very short sample size. Only 3 races for those two. But Conquest Panthera, he is a presser. He's got good speed. He can stay up there early. And as you see here in the Canadian turf, he was third behind Heart to Heart. Bondurant got by him there ahead right at the very last second. And then again, he came right back, and in the Maker's Mark, which was a grade 1 at Keeneland, had 11 starters in it. He was just a nose off from the finish line. So you see that last one, which is the Turf Classic, and again, that's here at Churchill Downs. And I'm thinking I'm going to give that one a bit of a toss. That speed figure doesn't look right to what he normally does. And then when I look over here at what the scorer got, I would love to take another look at that before the race today. I want to see how rank he was. It looks like he caved, but the horse had some trouble. So I'm giving Conquest Panthera a freebie on this one. I'm putting the line through that last one, and he is my top pick. Now, because of what Joe and Ray had said, I actually needed 3 of them. So I used Casagree. He is one of our guys. We've used him for quite a while. And again, he's got that P in his line. And I used the favorite as well, Pluven. So, and I didn't want to wax philosophic on the favorite, but I went 5, 6, 7 here. I've got Joe with, I've got Ray with 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe the 5 is his top pick on that one. And I've got Joe with the 4 and the 7. I believe the 4 is his top pick. And you guys just heard from me. My top pick was the 5. I'm going to come on back, and we will move along to race number 7. Morning, everybody. And race number 7 is 1 mile and an 1/8 on the main track. This is one of the co-features on the day. This is the Fleur De Lis handicap. It's a grade 2. Purse is $200,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 1. Forever Unbridled, trained by Dallas Stewart and ridden by Joel Rosario, is 4-5 on the Churchill Downs morning line. Guys, this is a very prestigious race for the ladies. Past winners of the Fleur De Lis include Royal Delta in 2012 and Rachel Alexandra in 2010. Ray, you are up on the Fleur De Lis. Who do you like in the co-featured handy?
It's a tough race for me because we have here a very good horse, a favorite. She won last year. She's her first race back, and we see a lot of times that horses, just don't fire the first time out. They may be very good, but at the price and to making their debut, after a hard season last year, sometimes they're not really cranked up. But and that being said, I'm gonna try and beat her. Although I'll include her, I take it, but I'm gonna try and hopefully have some long shots here to you know, to to beat her at 4 to 5. But I'm gonna look at Karumba number 3. We got the hot Johnny Velasquez here with Phipps homebred from McGahee. Been racing against some really good horses, cavorting, Terra Promesa, By the Moon, who just won the on Belmonte. Tough sprinter there. When she turns for home, I don't think she won't see any of these horses, so it's a good spot for her. And I'll take the 6 to 1 chance. And Giant V is so hot, so I will go with them. That's my top pick. I like number 5, Big World, 6 to 1. She just loved the sloppy track in Churchill on Latria and Derby Day. She went gate to wire, being Romantic Vision, who's right next to her. And she's 3 for 3 this year. 7 for 11 lifetime, 4 thirds. So she's in the race. A lot of upside in this one, and I'm looking forward for a good 4-year-old campaign for her. She can win from anywhere. She can close a little bit, and she has a good chance with Giroux and Thomas Amos, who ride well together 30% the last 60 days. So these are good price horses. These are good horses too. So if you stay away from the favorite, you can get some good prices. I do like number 9, Weep No More, 10 to 1. Comeback race is good. A 5th going 8 wide in a Matron on this track. She was 3 for 6 last year with 3 losses. 3 losses, right? 2 to Somberg and 1 to Catherine Sophia. So no shame in that. She's a closer who could take advantage of the hot pace between Big World, Apologetic, Accepted, and Karumba. Corey Leahy is back on her, they won the Ashton together. So that's a good combination. I'm tossed between going 3 deep and 4 deep, and you know who my 4th pick is. So, putting the chalk in there. I guess we gotta play her. Forever Unbridled. It's her first race of the year, but you never know. She might. She has won before. Off there, and she's a class of field, and Grade 1 winner, and 3rd to Beholder, Songbird. So, Rosario have to push her out there, and they'll get a good trip. The question is she ready? That's all. So I'll go with the 3, 5, 9, and 1. I'll put the 1 probably on my second line. That's how I feel. All right, Joe. What you got to say about the Fleur De Lis?
Well, what I want to say is I like the fact that I'm able to go to the racing forum and actually read articles about horses in certain situations. And I actually got a chance to read an article about this race and about Forever Unbridled specifically. And it mentioned that it is the start of her season. The other thing it did mention is that she had a chip in her left front ankle removed. So she had surgery during the time off. And she's only been in training since May 13th. So I'm against her today. She's going to have to beat me. I'm thinking there are other horses who are. Dallas Stewart still said obviously he likes the way she's working, but I'm just thinking with everything that's going on, and like the article said, this is the start of her season, and the goal is the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Right. So this is not necessarily a have-to-win race today, even though it's a win and you're in. My guess is even if she doesn't win, she'll get in as long as she's healthy, because she'll win something down the road. But for the other horses, this is a win and you're in, and it may be their best shot, considering that Songbird's back and Forever Unbridled, and horses like that are coming back to the races if they haven't already. They may not have many chances to get win and you're in, so this is going to be a big one for them. So I actually heard your analysis, Ray, and I like what I heard. As long as I agree. I'm on the 6 here. I'm on Romantic Vision. I think, like you said, between Apology Not Accepted and Big World and Karumba, there's enough pace that it's going to make it. It's not going to be slow. I wouldn't expect it to be slow. I wouldn't expect it to be blazing either. But I expect that there'll be enough to set it up for Romantic Vision. She ran really well against what I've heard as a rail bias on Derby weekend. Ran second to Big World, and she's getting weight from Big World today. She gets 3 pounds from Big World. The only thing that concerns me about her is that she hasn't won a stake, but if Brian Hernandez goes to ride another horse, a horse for Ian Wilkes, I believe. I'm not sure which horse he's on now. Walkabout. Okay. He's on Walkabout. To get Julian Lightbrew is not a bad substitute. So I'm going to take a chance. Again, I'm tossing Forever Unbridled. I'm going to let her beat me. And I'm going with the 6, Romantic Vision, as my top choice in here. The other choice I like is Big World. And I see that Rich's checkmark is there. So I'm sure we'll get a little bit more analysis from him. She's won 4 in a row. She may still be improving she's a 4-year-old. She's fairly lightly raced. 7 wins and 11 starts. She should, like I said, she should be getting better. 2-time graded winner. She won the La Troyenne and she won the Tempted early in 2015 as a 2-year-old. The jockey trainer combination is really good with a positive ROI. And she's working well. I like the 47-4 breeze at Churchill about a week ago. So to me, she's got a chance to be the best of the speed. She's got the best early pace numbers, according to Brisnet and according to the DRF Randy Moss pace figures. So I think she's going to be on the lead, and I think they're going to have her to catch, but I think she's going to get caught late. And like I said, I kind of like Romantic Vision here. So 6-5 for me. I'm just going to go too deep again. I'm saving a little money. Again, I'm trying to beat Forever Unbridled, so this pays a little bit more than $20. So 6-5 for me in the Fleur De Lis. Rich?
Yeah, and Joe, I think, I looked at Big World, and I've researched her and seen her actually race a couple of times on TVG now, and I can't help but believe that DJ Khaled would just love this horse. She goes everywhere, and all she does is win. I see some pretty big names on her past performance as well down here. I see Rachel Valentina. She's solid. And I saw what you were talking about, that people had talked about that rail bias at Churchill Downs. And I often think that comes down to almost like that political discussion. It's depending on what your eyes want to see or how you want to disqualify somebody. So when I hear people talk about, oh, well, there was a rail bias at Churchill Downs, I'm like, she's a speed horse who held off everybody in an 8-horse race where they were all coming at her. And she repelled everybody at Churchill, where, that we were all talking about, that was why Masochistic couldn't win there, because speed doesn't hold, and she did. So I did go with Big World here. Florent Giroux and Thomas Amos, 30% together. That's a hot combination there. Amos, if you look at all of his numbers here, this is his baby, and she just won a G1 graded stakes there at May. We all know what that means for her. I mean, if you look at her previous races and like that, this race makes her very, very valuable in the breeding shed. So this was the one that they were looking for, and she's the one that I think is going to take this race. So I've got the 5 on top. I chickened out. I couldn't go the way that Joe did. I actually looked at Carumba as well, that Ray was looking at, but in the end, Forever Unbridled, if she's back to what she was and like that, she's probably just better than this field. I think that she might have some trouble trying to run down Big World. So I just went 1-5 here, but the 5 is my top choice, and I backed it up with the 1. No chance I'm going to single here, but looks like we've got Ray has got the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 9. And Ray, I believe the 3 is your top choice, right? And Joe, I've got you with the 6 as your top choice here.
Yes.
Who is your backup?
6-5.
I'm sorry. 6-5.
6-5.
So we've got 6 and 5. All right. And we are coming on back, and we are going to move along to race number 8. All right, race number 8 is 1 mile and 1/8 on the main track. This is, again, the co-feature of the day. It's the Stephen Foster handicap. This one's a grade 1. Purse is $500,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 3. Gunrunner, first trained by Steve Asmussen and ridden by Florent Giroux, comes in as your 4-5 morning line favorite. Stephen Foster is a famous American composer, and he actually has a number of hits, but in the homeland of racing, he is known only as the man who wrote My Old Kentucky Home, sung every year by hundreds of thousands of people at the Kentucky Derby. Joe, who do you like in the future?
If not millions sitting at home as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going against the grain here. I like the 1. I like Birdsong. He's another one who could have taken advantage of the, again, supposed Derby rail bias on Derby weekend. He ended up winning the Ali Sheba pretty convincingly, but it's not just a one-time thing. He's 3 for 4 over the track. This is going to pan out very differently strategically. I think that actually will affect this horse's fortunes. And Stanford to me is the key horse here. Stanford's not really a horse that looks like somebody who wants to win from off the pace. He kind of needs, to me, he kind of needs the lead. But I don't think John Velasquez is going to send him from out there. What I'm guessing they're going to try to do is, and again, I'm playing jockey and trainer here, is that if they're sitting outside, they're going to say, okay, we're going to let the one go. We're going to sit right outside the one. Isn't necessarily on the engine. We're going to try and keep him pinned in. With the 1, 3, and the 8 going 3-prong duel, I would assume that Gunrunner, again, it's a strategic situation. I wonder if Gunrunner is going to take a little bit off the pace, because the last 3 races he's run in front, and I've watched some other professional handicappers, guys who work for the DRF on their YouTube videos, and they kind of think that the paces that he's been getting to run have been pretty soft. So if that's the case, I'm thinking, and Gunrunner's shown it in the past that he doesn't have to be on the lead, and he wants to go, and Stanford goes, and Birdsong goes. I'm not sure they don't cook each other. Again, Gunrunner is probably the best horse. He ran well against Arrogate in Dubai. He's been off since 3 for 5 of the track. You can't argue his credentials, so I won't go any further. This is very interesting strategically. I don't see much in this race other than those 3. I don't know that Stanford is particularly good enough, and I don't. Again, if they decide to rate, I'm just not sure he's going to win this race. I don't know that he can win rating. I would assume, like I said, try to sit off of Birdsong, make a move, keep Gunrunner hemmed in as long as possible. But strategically, the first turn for me is going to be where this race is either won or lost. Kind of like we saw, Rich, with Stellar Wind Dory last in that 3-horse race at Santa Anita a couple weeks ago. So again, I'm going with the 2 best of the speed. I like Birdsong and I like Gunrunner. I can't single Gunrunner because, again, this is kind of a rebirth or a reborn again. And at 4 to 5, if Forever Unbridled and Gunrunner win today, this pick 4 is going to have a lot of people saying, oh, okay, I'll go 6 deep and then single, and then all, and it's not going to pay that much. I mean, unless 2 absolute bombs win the other 2 races. So I'm going to try and give a little bit more. Again, and Birdsong has Le Peru on, and I like Julian on the lead now, especially since what he did with Hawksmoor a few weeks ago. So to me, it's 1-3 in that order. Again, I have no argument with singling Gunrunner because he's probably the best horse, but it still be one on the first turn. And one thing I wanted to mention before we go to Ray, I'm sorry, Rich, tonight the races at Churchill Downs are being run at night, and the first post for this pick 4 is Eastern Pacific, 8:35 Eastern, 5:35 Pacific. For those of you out there looking to bet it, they're not going to be running early in the morning. This is a nighttime card at Churchill, so that makes things a little bit different as well. So 1-3 for me in the Stephen Foster, and I will now hand it off to Ray. So Ray, what Stephen Foster? What do you think of the pace scenario in here?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Birdsong, Stanford, probably Johnny V will probably lay back for that 8 hole, unless he breaks really, really well. But you don't know. And no, it's going to be a good contentious pace. I mean, those 3, Gunrunner probably be right there. Maybe Twain, Stanford, probably Birdsong's going to be on the rail. But I think Gunrunner probably will find his way, stay in the clear, and at most a 2-pat. And it's going to be, those 2 should open up some lengths of the other horses. You're right. I don't think Stanford can keep up with these horses. I think he's more of a, like a grade 2, grade 3 horse, and he's a good horse. But I think for this against Gunrunner, he's up against it. So, I'm gonna single Gunrunner because I've been going 4 deep, and I have a lot of horses in the last race. So unless I hit something big early, I can go 2 deep. I do like your horse number 1, so that would be definitely a consideration for me on my ticket. When I play it. But Gunrunner is developing to the top East Coast handicap runner, second to Arrogate in the World Cup. Grade 1 winner, the clock. second in the Biscuit Mile, PA Derby, third in the Travis. So he's got good credentials, 7 for 14, and shipping back from Dubai doesn't really concern us no more because after we saw what Foster did. So he'll be ready. He had good, a nice little layoff. So he's been training here. He got some good workouts, some good solid 6 furlong workouts or 5 furlong workouts, breezing, and he'll be ready for this. So this is a good race for him to also to move forward and to tackle on the Giants later on, especially that one for the West Coast there. So I guess from here, if he wins, you get the Whitney, you get some good races going down the road. So it's gun running for me, and I'll take the price, and so I have some. Since I'm leaning towards leaving Bridle off my ticket, so I could also get a good payout if I'm still alive. So, all right, Rich, Stephen Foster, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm looking around here in my office. You guys, we shared that you saw the Bob Baffert and the Mike Smith bobblehead doll. I've got a lot of toys in my office here, and they're all West Coast based. As I think about it, right? I've got a stuffed animal that's up there that's California Chrome. I think I've shown you guys before. I have a bobblehead doll that's got Zenyatta, and the Mike Smith doll is actually the one that you see there is a signed Mike Smith doll that comes from when he was riding Zenyatta, and I have a framed picture of him riding Zenyatta in there, and of course. Ray from a couple of years ago. I have the program framed from the Belmont Stakes and a winning ticket on the chosen one, American Pharaoh. The reason I'm bringing that up is all of my favorite horses, and Joe and Ray will confirm this. They're all West Coast horses. I'm a California guy. I love the ponies, and when I have my favorites, they're all West Coast based. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I can't think of the last time that somebody who was not a West Coast based horse kind of snuck into that category of being one of my guys. And here he is. It's Gunrunner, and I don't know how he did it. He did, he was against Nyquist and the Exaggerator field last year and things like that, and he just seems to be the best of the 4-year-olds who kind of came back. That's not named Arrogant. So Gunrunner came back last year. At the very end of the year, he absolutely destroyed them in the Clark here at Churchill Downs. He came back right after that. He went down to Oaklawn Park. He destroyed them down at Oaklawn Park. And quite frankly, if you watched the first 7 furlongs of the Dubai World Classic, you would have thought for sure that the Gunrunner was going to win that race. How Arrogant came and caught him is one of the most impressive races that we've all ever seen. So, as I've said this before, as long as nobody does something funky, like brings Arrogant and loads him in the starting gate at Churchill Downs, then you're looking at the winner of the Stephen Foster Handicap. It's the number 3. It's Gunrunner. Steve Asmussen and Florent Giroux are as solid a combination. I was surprised to see that their numbers aren't as high as they are sometimes. They're only down 18% right now. Maybe it's a little bit of a down year for them. He's a speed type. He's got enough speed to handle anybody that's in this race. And I see him doing a lot what he did in either the Clark or the Razorback. And again, I have kind of put the Dubai bounce to rest ever since I saw Frosted last year. So I've only got one pick in this race. It's the 3. I'm not going any deeper than that. Ray has got one pick in this race. It's the 3. He's not going any deeper than that. And Joe just has 2 picks in this race. He has the 3, and he's backing it up with Birdsong. He's got the 1 in there as well. And I will come on back to you guys, and we will head into the finale. And this is, race number 9. Again, 1 mile and an 1/8, and this is on the turf. It's the Regret Stakes. Grade 3, purses $100,000 for filly 3-year-olds only. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 4. Proctor's Ledge, trained by Brendan Walsh and ridden by Corey Lannery, is a tasty 7-2 on the Churchill morning line. Ray, I can't confirm this via my normal sources, but I do believe this race could be named for the way we feel after many of our toughest pick 4 beats this year. Who do you like in the Regret Stakes?
Yeah, if I'm alive, at this point, I'm going to feel good about myself. No, I'm not pushing the O button. I don't get that cash. But from the 12, I'm going to name 6 of them here that I'm going to put on my ticket. I find this race wide open, and I'm just looking for some good price horses. I got a few of the choice horses here. But we're going to start here with number 11, Star Bear. Improving in every start. Steps up here from optional claiming events. So this could be our old 3 broke guy angle. She attracts Castellanos. That's a good sign. For Brad Cox and owner Donald Disney. Looks like she wants more distance, but I see a lot of upside in her. And it's, I like her, at 8-1. Number 2, Sweeping Patty, 4-1. Uh, Gave up the lead in the Edgewood at 22-1. Just one win in 8 starts, so another one whose figures are improving. And gets inside and speedy, so she could get a good trip here. For size, Dale Romans, and being on the inside, she's speed type, so that's always an advantage. Proctor's Ledge, number 4, 7-2, fourth in the Edgewood at the track, while in the 7 pat. She gets the inside trip today for Corey Lanery and Brendan Walsh, who's 6 for 11 lately, 64%. That's as good that's as good as you can get there. Steady figures for this race. Par already 5th start this year, so she's been running a lot. She's 2 for 4. She'll have to move around some horses for position. So Lanery has his work cut out. It's a big field, and he's a good jockey. He knows the track. So number 10, we got Fizzy Friday, 10-1. Welcome to the U.S. At Churchill, second in the conditional allowance race. So picked up Jai Velasquez, who is riding very well. But I think this horse needs to pick up a few lengths. But second race back, you never know. This horse could very definitely improve in this kind of field. Number 7, Summer Luck, 10-1, first time turf. Didn't like the slop. A little punch in the Ashland, so Cassie says, let's try this turf and see what happens. The figures are consistent for the race profile, and definitely a closer who's gonna have to work out a turf for Summer Luck. And number 9, Samia, 8-1. She liked the yielding turf at Keeneland, and that was her only turf win. Joe Rocco, and 17% of the grass steps up here. I wouldn't be surprised for Shadwell Stables, and she's 2 for 4 lifetime with second and third, so she's got a shot here too. So that's where I'll go. 11, 2, 4, 10, 7, and 9 for my pick 4. If I'm alive, I got half the field, baby.
Bombs away.
Let's try it.
So why didn't you go all?
Because
It sounds like you mentioned everybody anyway.
Because my ticket. Hey, you never know if I make good money later on early.
That's true too. You can always go that way.
If you got money, play that money back. That's all.
Well, that's. See, I only went 2 deep in each of the first few legs, so I probably could have gone all here, but I decided to go 4 deep. And the horse that you mentioned last is the horse I like best, Samia. Like you said, Shadwell Stable homebred. I always have a preference for Keeneland allowance horses, stepping them into grade 3, because Keeneland allowance races always seem to get a little bit better quality of horse. And that was an explosive one. You don't see a lot of grass races won by 2 1/4, and this was the horse's first start on the turf. Horses tend to get better second time on the turf, so maybe this is a horse who could explode here, and even win this race. Hope maybe even going away. I don't know. Like I love the work around the dogs on June 11th. For those who are uninitiated, dogs are basically they're cones that are put up around the inner part of the track to protect the inner half of the surface, because that's where most of the racing is run. So actually the horse is actually running around the middle of the track. So the horse went 5 furlongs, but basically was wide most of the way around. And to do 5 furlongs in a minute and change, that's pretty awesome to me. So I think this horse is obviously doing well. And don't be alarmed by the Dan Pites record of 0 for 14. He's a good trainer. He can get horses ready. He's been around a long time. Obviously 13% for the year. He's just obviously had his struggles at Churchill. But Shadwell Stables doesn't send a lot of cheap horses to anybody. They don't send cheap horses anywhere. So I like this horse a bit today. I also want to mention the 11, the horse that Ray mentioned. If you look back through Star Bear's past performances, if you go back to her turf debut at Saratoga, those 2 horses that she got beat by, La Cornell and New Money Honey, they're kind of good. They're pretty good. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, obviously, and La Cornell has won a couple of stakes lately. In the Churchill allowance, she ran into Grease, who was also a horse who was on the Kentucky Oaks Trail in Louisiana, finishing behind Farrell. a couple of times earlier this year. And the race after that was Untapped and Wicked Lick, who were also 3-year on the Kentucky Derby Trail, Kentucky Oaks Trail, in Louisiana. So this horse has some good past performances in her lines and some good quality horses that she's been running against. I think she's better going long on the turf. So I give her a good shot in here. Those are the two I will mention. I have two more that I will mention later. And actually one of them that Ray did not mention. So when we do our own personal pick fours, even though I did not send my picks to Rich, and for that I apologize. I have two more horses that I will mention for my own personal pick four later on when we do that segment in the next few minutes. So 9 and 11 on top for me in this spot.
All right. Well, I'm assuming that means it's over to me. And I did not, for those of you who have been kind of following along, I did not take any chances in this race. So I only went 3 deep in the first race. I only went 2 deep in the second race. And thanks to Gun Runner, I'm only 1 deep in the third leg. So I punched the, I ate an all burger here, guys. So I did hit the all button. And it'll be a $36 ticket for anybody who's looking for it. That's why I like those singles that are in there. If you are looking for a horse in here, and again, I'm looking for some kind of a big number. I've got Gunrunner, who's going to be the big overwhelming favorite, Stephen Foster. As Joe pointed out, I'm leaving Forever Unbridled on my ticket. So should those two hit, I need something big to happen here. And so I, as you saw me there, I was taking a peek back to the stats here. So it doesn't look like speed is really the way to go in a 9 furlong race here at Churchill Downs. Depending on what the weather's like, keep an eye on the turf and things like that. You get 57% going to the S-types. Again, a very unusual track as far as the way Churchill Downs is playing. So if you're looking for somebody long, let's go ahead and figure here on Fizzy Friday. He's a closer. Was off a bit of a layoff in that last one. Came over from, ironically enough, from Europe and didn't race on the turf over in Europe. So when do you see that? But won his first 2 over in Europe on the synthetic. The synthetic usually translates very well over here to the turf. And then if you want to give some forgiveness for that first one, usually like that first time Lasix angle, but this is the second time Lasix angle for this one. And for whatever reason, he appears to have drawn a fairly decent jock here, this guy named Jean Velasquez. So I'll go ahead and I'll put the 10 as my top horse just for shits and giggles, I guess, here, as you want to look at it that way. If I was going to go for another one, I was actually looking at Like a Hurricane earlier, but I don't think that speed's going to play there. So I've just got the 10 really as my top one. But remember, I'm eating the all burger in this race. One of the few times that I've actually gone deeper than Mr. Torado, who went 11, 2, 4, 10, 7, 9, hut, hike.
Is that a combination to a safe or something? What?
Yeah.
Let it be known. Bet the other 6.
Is that your phone number? Your area code? What is your zip +4?
All right. And we've got Joe, and Joe's top pick was the 9, Samia, and I would caution everybody to give a lot of play to that horse, Shadwell Stables, and I think you also liked the 11, Star Bear.
Yes.
All right, and I will come back.
You got priced horses too, so.
Yeah, no, you got prices in the finale, which means look out for.
Yeah, it's a wide open. It is a wide open heat.
Yeah, it is wide open.
It's hard to pin anything down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and I am back. I will turn this over to Ray and Joe to go ahead and give you their individual pick fours. As you heard, Joe did not get me his pick four, and I apologize. I got Ray's pick four, but I did not get it up onto our Sheets program, so I will turn it over to the two of them here just in a second and let them give you their individual pick fours. Get on my screen.
Good, Ray. Are you still positive for the year?
Yeah, barely.
I believe he is.
It was 80, and I lost last week, right? So yeah, probably in the 40 range.
So you're still plus for the year. Yeah. Since this is U.S. Open weekend, you have the honors, sir.
All right. Okay.
Hold on one moment here, and let me clear these out of here so that nobody gets confused and thinks that we're playing the wrong ones.
Hey, maybe if they play those numbers, it's better than the ones we're going to give them.
Play
the numbers we used last week, and maybe you might win. Actually,
just change the date. That's all. There are many ways to play racing, right?
All right.
Somebody's birthday, somebody's. Oh my goodness. I like these numbers. 19 that comes up is $1,000.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
Hey, if 19 is your lucky number, go for it.
19. Oh man. Yeah, those races you have to bet in England, probably. The big
All right.
fields.
You are up, Mr. Torado. Go ahead and
All
fire
right,
away. And
my
again, I
pick
apologize
four.
for a blank template there for you.
Okay, we're gonna go in race 6. We're gonna go with the 5, the 2, Casaqui and Bondurant, who's 8-1. Thatcher Street, one of the favorites, and Chocolate Ride, the speed of we think is the speed of the race here, good speed. So we're gonna go with 5, 2, 3, 4 in my first leg. Going 4 deep here, the Wise Dam. And Fleur De Lis, I did mention the Carumba is my top choice. Number 3, Big World, who we all seem to like, is my second choice there. And Weep No More, who's a good long shot, number 9. So 3, 5, 9. And I'll include the 1 to make my ticket 4 deep here also for Bridle. Then I'm in a single Gun Runner and a Stephen Foster. Um, So that's pretty much for that one. And the ninth race, you're gonna have my the 6 horses I like here. 11 Star Bear I talked about, and I'm Sweeping Patty, Proctor's Ledge, the 4. Number 10 Fizzy Friday, which we all talked about. Joe likes him, and Samir 7 Summer Luck and Samir 9. So we're gonna go 3, 5, 9, 1. I'm sorry, 11, 2, 4, 10, 7, and 9. My ticket I believe is $48, and let's see if I'm live. We'll be okay. So I'm gonna keep Foreign Bite on there. Just as insurance, it cost me $12 more. But you know what? If she wins, I don't want to get thrown out because that. Because last week I made a mistake. I left out more Spirit and I got shifted out. Goodbye. See you next week. After a good first leg, we had a good horse the first leg, so it happened. So all right, that's my pick 4. Joe, what you got there?
Hey, Rich, I'm sorry, Ray. It's funny you mentioned more Spirit, and I'm starting to think. Do you remember? I'm gonna digress. I'm gonna go a little bit back in the day for Ray and I. Ray remembers the trainer Mackenzie Miller. You remember Mac Miller, right? Ray?
Yeah, Mac Miller. Yeah,
Mac Miller. I remember Mac Miller and Pat Day. That combination, jockey Pat Day, was one that I, for whatever reason, every time I bet they got beat, and every time I didn't bet the horse won.
Yep.
Now I'm starting to feel that way about Bob Baffert and Mike Smith. Every time I bet them, they get beat, and every time I don't bet them or I don't think they win. No matter what the odds are, it makes no difference.
That's true.
Anyway, I digress about that.
We left scratch our heads many times.
Oh my God, seriously.
But still get the pretzel. The dollar pretzel going out was always nice.
If I had a nickel. Anyway, no, my pick 4 is only $16 this week. I just went 2 deep in the first 3 legs. Chocolate Ride, Speed of the Speed in the Wise Dan, as well as the favorite Pluvin, repeating the pattern that allowed him to win the Wise Dan in 2016. 4-7 for me in the Wise Dan. In the Fleur De Lis, I decided to bet against Forever Unbridled. I went 2 deep. Romantic Vision was my top choice, figuring that there should be enough speed to set up her nice late kick. But I also used Big World, given that she's won 4 in a row. She's on a nice little streak, and she's won 7 of 11, including that grade 1 last time out on Derby weekend. 8 was the Stephen Foster, and I went 2 deep in that race as well. Birdsong was my top choice. Again, I think the strategy and how this race plays out over the first 2 to 3 furlongs, how this race turns out. Again, Gunrunner is the best of the field, speed figure wise and probably appearance wise. But he's going to be a really short price. 4 to 5. If you get 4 to 5 run in the window, that's generous. He's going to be around 1 to 5, maybe 2 to 5 at best. But still, I think Birdsong has a chance to upset off the win in the grade 2 Ali Sheba. And again, because of the strategic angle of this, because of Stanford's presence on the outside, I think this could be a little bit more interesting than more people are going to give it credit for. And in the 9th, in the Regret, like I said, I mentioned 2 horses earlier. I mentioned the 9, Samia, and the 11, Star Bear. The 3rd horse I want to mention is a horse that Ray did not cover, and that's the 12, Chubby Star. And if you look back at her last race, Chubby Star ran against the boys on Preakness Day. And she finished second, beaten 4 lengths, which is, obviously isn't it wasn't close, but still to finish second in a field of 12 against the boys, That's not bad. The only thing that really concerns me about, well, there's two things actually. The post is horrible. Fortunately, there's plenty of time to get a run into the first turn at Churchill. So I'm having a wide trip because of the post necessarily. And she's a closer. She could be a closer. So she might as well just drop back to that. Obviously, she was 20 lengths back on the day of the Preakness. So obviously she came from far back. But the other thing that concerns me is that she hasn't worked since that last race. And normally I would expect at least to get one breeze in just to make sure everything's okay. So I'm a little concerned, and the number is short. She's 5-1. If somehow she gets off a little higher than that, be happy and say go to the window and bet to win maybe if you like her. But I like her a little bit, and I can't keep her off my ticket. And the other horse is one of the horses that Ray mentioned, Fizzy Friday, coming over. And Ray mentioned that she's probably going to have to make up lengths. Well, and I have nothing against Declan Cannon. I don't know who Declan Cannon is, other than the fact that he was the jockey on this horse last time out. But sorry, Declan, nothing personal. Or no John Velasquez. So I think if there's a horse, if you're going to be able to make up lengths, Johnny V might be one of the best jockeys that you can put up, that you can leg up on the horse to make up those lengths. And again, Rich, like you said, she's a closer, and 3-year-olds develop quickly, and maybe the second time Lasix will be a nice angle for her. And again, so I went with the 4 outside posts, 9, 10, 11, and 12, not in that order of preference. It was 9, 11, 12, 10. And I know that's going against the grain of the post position analysis, but you know what? If you're going to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. So I will go with those 4 outside posts, 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the regret. So my pick 4 would be $16 total. And hopefully, I know, being that I left Forever Unbridled out, if she does not win and my pick 4 ticket hits, I will make a profit.
There you go. Interesting find on that Chubby Star, Joe. As I'm looking at it now at Pimlico, she was actually marooned. She was marooned out in post number 12 that day in a 1-mile race at Pimlico, no. So outside post, not necessarily a detractor for her.
Ray's got a 7.
I got a 7 course.
There you go.
Great. Just hit the all button, damn it.
Collaboration.
Open that wallet a little bit wider. We know you've got the cash. It's all good.
All right.
And one more thing, Rich, before we go any further, I wanted to mention, and because I know Rich and I had discussed it, Del Mar's opening day, for those, we were talking about summer earlier, and it's only about a month away. Del Mar's opening day is 32 days away, and it is a Wednesday. They went back to a Wednesday.
Okay.
Last year was obviously an experiment. They made it Friday. This year it is back on Wednesday. The date is July 19th. I'm going to see if I can try to do some makeup time at the office, so maybe I can get that afternoon off at least, so I can head down there straight from my office in Vista. So we'll see if we can make it down there. But anyway, again, I just wanted to announce it to everybody. Opening Day Del Mar is 32 days away on July 19th.
Very good.
All right. And can you guys see it? I've got the pick 4 ticket up on the screen now. Is it showing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go through this.
And the dates are correct and everything.
Cool. And
outstanding. Maybe this morning thing is a good idea.
All right, leg 1. We've got three selections here. The 4, and I think that's Chocolate Right, and he appears on both Joe and Ray's ticket. I think that's Joe's top pick. Yes. The 5 is showing on both Ray's and my Ray. Who is your Ray's? That's your top pick. Is the 5?
5, yeah.
And so we've got the 5 in there, and then the 7 is showing on both Joe and my ticket. So we got 4, 5, 7 in that first leg. The second leg here, the 1, that's when me and Ray have both got Forever Unbridled on our ticket. The 3, Ray, I believe the 3 is your top pick in the second race. We've also got the 5 on here. Joe, you and I both have the 5 on our ticket. And the 6 is, I believe that's Joe's top pick.
Yes.
Okay. On to leg number 3, and we've just got 1 right now. I've just got Gunrunner in there. So Ray and I both singled on Gunrunner. Joe, you had Gunrunner on your top line, and you also had Birdsong in there. We'll see if we can how this works out. And in leg 4 right now, that's the one that's kind of open. I chickened out and just ate the Allburger in that race. So we've got actually Joe. You had the 9 and the 11 on yours, and oh surprise, surprise, Ray actually had the 9 and the 11 in his little Keno ticket as well. So that's how we got. That's how we got there.
Ray had pretty much everybody. So.
Yeah, Ray had them all, and the longer we talked, the more he added. So. We have room there. Yeah, we've got room there if we want the finale to add the. I had the John Velasquez horse maybe as my top choice there. I kind of chickened out, but I thought the Velasquez horse in the finale with the European coming over.
Yeah, I think the 10. Yeah, we both mentioned them.
Okay, so we can put the 10 in here if we want.
I did as well. Yeah,
and Joe had them as well. So be 3 times 4 times 3. So this would be an $18 pick 4. If we wanted, okay.
I don't know that we need to. I mean, like I said, I would want to put the 1 on in race. Again, I would take the 1 out of leg 2 and put it in leg 3, but that's a personal preference for me. So I don't want to.
Yeah, actually, me too. I would kind of agree to that.
Which one?
So if we so you're saying take Forever Unbridled off the ticket altogether, Ray?
Yeah.
And then put Birdsong in.
Put Birdsong. Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, that would have been my original thought anyway. That changes that. Yeah, I was going to say, Rich, it's 20. That becomes a $27 ticket. But now, okay, so you've changed your mind and saying you don't care if Forever Unbridled beats us, because what you said earlier in the show is that you don't want her to beat us and knock us off the ticket. So I just want to make sure we're all clear on that.
Right. Yeah.
Because, like I said, that would have been my original idea anyway. Yeah. So I'm not going to go against it. I just want to make sure you're sure about what. Well,
I mean, honestly, I have her as my 4th pick, so I'm not too thrilled about her coming back off a layoff and stuff. I've already seen this before, so so I would honestly. I wouldn't mind to take her off. I might even do the same thing on my personal ticket too. Take her off and put it in your 1, because I think for what you said, it makes a lot of sense, and
Yeah, like I said, I just don't know how that race is going to play out tactically.
Yeah.
I mean,
if any horse will beat any horse will beat Gun Runner, it probably will be Birdsong. I think that's the other horses have really small chance. I mean.
I would say that. And the only other possibility is, God forbid, they all 3 decide to go and make it 22 and change and 44 and change, and then Texas Chrome could win, or I don't even know who else is in the race, to be honest with you. But we just want to make sure that that's the way we want to go. So we're gonna kick Forever Unbridled off the ticket.
Yeah, for this purpose, I would agree.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the same thing too. So
okay. So it's So it's now 27. Rich, do you have an opinion? I know you liked Forever Unbridled a little bit, but this involves your money too.
Yeah. But it's always if Ray's gonna take the 1 off, we'll put it back. No, my math skills sit there and say no, and you guys heard me last week on that. I don't actually do these tickets anymore where I don't have singles. So that was a philosophy I changed, probably maybe a little bit during our break, but it was coming even before then and things like that. So now when I bet a pick 4, if somebody's listening, it was like, I wonder what their philosophies are and like that. My pick 4 tickets now almost always, and again, the only reason I say almost always is I don't like the always word like that. I have to have a single in there somewhere. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm giving myself options. And in this particular sequence, like that 4th leg caused me some pain and things like that. So that was where I needed my options. So I've always got a single now.
Yeah, it's funny if you want to talk philosophies. I'm in the same boat as you. I try to find a single if I can.
Yeah.
I also, I'm more of the one who's, I don't want to take what is the obvious single in a lot of cases. And Gun Runner to me is a good horse, very good horse. I don't want to use the word great because the word great is thrown around way too much in sports as it is. He's a very good horse, very talented, and if he can beat Eric, get down the line, maybe in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and maybe then maybe he is. Then I would consider him great. But I don't know. Like I said, to me, the strategy of that race just doesn't lend to singling a pick four ticket. It's not as if Gunrunner's a lone F and he's been earning those big figures on load leads and nobody else is going to challenge him early. I'm just thinking there's too many variables in what the pace scenario is going to be in order to single. But normally, like you, I like to try to single. But if I can keep it 2x2x2 for 3 legs, that's pretty. I mean, that's 8. That's at 8 combinations. That's $4. That's pretty reasonable to me. But otherwise, yeah, if I've got to go 4x4x4x3, to me, it's not even worth playing. It basically, like Ray was, I could just put all the numbers on the ticket and get the winner. But that to me is too difficult.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got our pick four ticket. It is 4-5-7 with 3-5-6 with 1-3 with 9, 10, 11. For those of you who've been listening to this discussion, I'd recommend that you bet something on the 1 in leg number 2 here as a win bet. And I will come on back.
Join the masses.
And we are going to go on. And all right, for those of you who are watching, if you enjoyed our show, we're going to be back next week. I do not have what the schedule is going to be for us next week, but we'll get that out sometime during this upcoming week. But we will get together and take a look at another exciting card. There's quite a few of them that are out there. So, all right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for this morning. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, always a pleasure.
Yes, absolutely.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good day.
All right, have a good day.
Day.
Remember, nighttime.
Good day.
Churchill nighttime.
Good day, mate.